Okay, come, let's start. Hello. Okay, can come. Let's start. Okay, come, hold on now. Let me just load something first. Okay, come. Okay, welcome to today's session. My name is Dixon, and I'm very happy to have all of you here with me in class today. Okay, for today's class, you're all highly encouraged to participate by asking questions, and there'll be some quizzes. So you'll be able to win some prizes in the quizzes later as well. Okay, so please pay a lot of attention. And I hope you'll find this session very meaningful and useful and enjoyable. So last night, I sent some of you, actually all of you, I sent all of you a text about what you guys would want to learn in today's class, right? So out of everybody that I sent, like, I don't know, I sent to like 75 of you guys or what, okay? So these are the results that I collated, okay? So the majority of you, I don't know, you guys are like, a lot of things is gonna be tested, okay? So I just took what you guys want to learn the most from here, and then that's what I'll be going through today. Okay. So if you can see over here, all of you want to learn how to write opposing paragraph with rebuttal, followed by content building. Okay. So I'll definitely be going through the opposing paragraph with rebuttal later. For the content building, I'll be sending you guys a set of notes, digital copy, so that you guys can look at it at the end and when you're revise for your exam. Okay, I think that would be quite useful. Then the themes, this is a nightmare because everybody has a lot of things that they learn. So I'll just break it down and I'll share with all of you. Okay. For paper 2, I think many of you are quite concerned with the application question, followed by answering the summary as well as irony and paradox question. So for today, I'll be focusing on the application question as well as the irony and paradox, because application is like 10 marks, the AQ, right? And then irony paradox tend to be about 2 marks lah. I don't have time to go through both AQ and summary, so this is the best we can do for today. Okay, so without further ado, let's get started into the class. Okay, so the first part is answering the application questions, characteristics of Singapore, structure of the AQ, and ensuring that your answer addresses the question's requirements. Okay, so now I would need all of you to go, okay, skip all this, okay. I need all of you to go to menti.com and use the code 76366965. Okay, go to this and then just send in as many character traits of Singapore and or Singaporeans that you can think of. Okay, that would be very useful. So I'll show the screen in a bit. Okay, please go to the website. Okay, so once you're inside, I haven't started yet, I think. Okay, let me go and start first. Okay, go to Menti, okay? Go to menti.com, 7636 on your notes also will have already. Okay, on your notes, you will have it. Here, Menti. Give me a moment. Oh, I don't think I'm supposed to show you guys this. Give me a moment. Okay. Yeah. Yes. Yeah. A moment. Okay. Okay. Oh, I'm supposed to show you guys. Okay, give as many as you can. I'm seeing some very good answers so far. Okay, so y'all can see what you guys are doing right now. Okay, FOMO, chips, cheapskate. Okay, let's see what else you guys are thinking of. Sleep deprived, yes. Punitive, annoying, materialistic, or racist. Okay, fat. Okay. Overworked, definitely. Annoying sometimes. Stress. Taoism. Right. Okay, let's give it a while more. Impatient. Oh, that's a lot of words. Oh, you guys feel very overworked. Okay, I feel very overworked also. Yeah. Okay, give it a minute more. So, okay. So let's go through some of this in a bit. Okay, so I can see like overwork is one of the biggest traits or the most popular traits that all of you have noted. So, do any of you have any statistics about how overworked Singaporeans are? Or any metrics that you can use to prove that Singaporeans are actually very overworked? Any idea? Okay, so I'm gonna share with you, right? Singaporeans are very overworked. I think it can be seen from our sleep deprived thing, and we are also named the most overworked country in APAC, Asia Pacific. Okay, so this is definitely true. So if you want to look at the numbers, okay, you can write in the box if you guys have the paper, right? So employees in Singapore work an average of 45 hours per week, which it's 9 hours a day only if you were to count. So that's quite little. 9 hours is what? 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. That's quite little, right? Most of us work way longer than that, including your teachers. Your teachers go to school at 7 and then they leave school at, I don't know, 7, 8 o'clock if they have CCA with you guys, right? So they work really crazy long hours. So 45 is Singapore, China is at 42. Okay, so yes, definitely there's a lot of truth in saying that Singaporeans are overworked. So take note of the hours, 45 hours. Okay. And this has left 73% of Singaporean employees very unhappy. And 62% of us feel very burnt out. Okay, I'm sure y'all can feel that as well. Okay, so 45 hours a week, 73% unhappy, 62% feel burnt out. Okay, so that is us being very overworked. Okay, not bad. Let's see what else we have. Okay, I have this over here. Okay, the second one, let's see. Kiasu. Yes. But what is the English word for kiasu? Kiasu means competitive, right? We're very scared to lose. So that is what kiasu means in English, proper English. Singaporeans are competitive, are extremely competitive. Okay, why are we competitive? Because we do not have a lot of human resource, we don't have a lot of resource, right? Natural resources. So the only resource we have is human resource, which is all of you. And all of you need to be very smart, need to be very capable in order for Singapore to progress from what we were, third world to first world, right? And this is why we are a very competitive country. Okay, you can see it in our education system, we can see it in our job market, right? So that is us being very competitive. The next one I see is FOMO. So we all fear of missing out. So I think that can slightly be tied to the character trait of kiasu, we scared to lose. So when we see all our friends doing something, then we also want to do it, right? So it does not just apply to all of you. I think you guys can see it in terms of maybe everyone applying for good schools, right? All your parents will move all the way to Bukit Timah just to get you all into very, very good schools for your primary school, right? That's what some parents will do. And if they cannot move there, the next thing they'll do is to go and volunteer, be a parent volunteer at the school. So that shows the great extent and the great length that parents are willing to go in order to secure a space for their child in a good school. Sorry, I just thought my mic was muted. Okay. So yes, okay, so these are some of the character traits of Singapore. Later, I will take a screenshot of this and share with all of you so y'all can look at that. So some very interesting ones I see is also impatient, fast-paced, pragmatic, Fat. I don't get fat. But yes, old. So by 2050, I think the majority of us is expected to be like 65 years old and above. We are an aging population. Okay, so if you will look at this, right? Singapore aging population 2050, we can see that 1 in 4 people will be aged over 65 years by 2030, which is like 7 years later, right? And then by 2050, right, 50% is gonna be 65 and above. So you pick 2 people, right? One of them is gonna be a senior citizen, 65 years old and above. That has a lot of implications on our society in terms of productivity as well. Okay, so this is quite a worrying trend. Currently, it is 1 in 4, but by 2050, it will rise to 1 in 2, which is like 50%. Okay, so this is quite serious. Okay, so for those who have just joined us, please use this link that I just pasted. Okay. Hey, what happened? Sorry, not this. Hey. Okay. Yeah, okay. So this is the statistics. 10. So now I want to move on to the next part already. Okay, if I'm like too fast or too slow, please let me know. Okay, so y'all can just fill up the box as we go through. This is just now. Okay, so for AQ, I'm not going to belabor the point. Y'all can read 25 to 30 minutes, do it at the end. Don't do it at the start. Okay, and of course, this is the ideal paragraph. Paragraph 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, like this. Intro, 3 argumentative paragraphs, 3 body paragraphs, and then 1 conclusion. But if you look at all the answer keys, right, all the markers have been told. Given the time constraints, students will not be able to handle every expectation or angle well and must not be unfairly penalized. So they know that you guys have some limit, so don't worry about it. Okay. But at the very, very least, you are expected to have a consistent viewpoint. So please don't sound like you have split personality or like you cannot decide, sitting on the fence like that. You must be very consistent in your viewpoint. Okay. Argue logically. So you can use a flow arrow. So what I mean by flow arrow, right, is like if you say something like this: Singaporeans are lazy, then they are lazy, so do not exercise, right? Then end up become very fat, like this. Okay, just an example. So this is what I mean by flow arrow, to make sure that you do not break the link. Okay, because if you don't do that right, sometimes you will see like, oh, there's a logical gap. Like how come this one can lead to that one? Okay, if you can add Singaporeans are lazy, why? Maybe in front you can also say they work long hours. So not really maybe lazy, but maybe they are tired. Also okay. Okay, so this is how you can use the flow arrows to guide your train of thoughts logically in your planning for your essay, in your planning for your AQ. This flow diagram, just a very quick arrow. Don't need to write in proper sentences, but make sure you do not have any gaps. Okay. So the next thing, of course, is to organize your answers. I already gave you like, that structure just now. Okay. Connect your paragraphs and remember to answer the question directly. So the question asks you, is it applicable to Singapore? You must say yes or no, to a large extent, to a small extent. Okay. So good answers, you all can read on your own. I will go through my normal class, but I don't think we have time for that. Okay, so I'll leave it first. Okay, all these also I will skip. Okay, so the suggested paragraph structure, right, is for you to identify the key argument of the author first. You must say the author says blah, blah, blah. You have 2 options. You can paraphrase and you can lift. My recommendation to you is to just lift. Okay, because if you try to paraphrase, right, you may change the meaning of the author, like what he's trying to say. Okay, then you might just get the whole paragraph wrong. But of course, if you feel very confident in your language abilities, you can just go and paraphrase. That will help give you credit in terms of language for the paper 2. Okay. And make sure whatever you say has a link to the requirement of the question. So if they're saying the causes of obesity or some solutions to climate change, then make sure your answer addresses that. Okay. So apart from saying, oh, the author says, you can use other words to show off your vocab. You can say, the author postulates, the author posits, the author avers, the author asserts, the author argues. Okay, so you can use these words. And then next, I forgot to add on, but you're supposed to say, I agree with the author to a large extent, right? Or I find the author's view largely applicable to my society. And Cambridge has allowed your society to be like Singapore, or if you're from another country, China, Malaysia, Vietnam, Thailand, whatever, that can be your society as well. So don't limit yourself to Singapore if you are not a Singaporean. Okay, don't worry about that. So remember the first activity that we did earlier, right? You're supposed to anchor those characteristics over here, because this is going to be the foundation for your argument. If not, your argument will have no foundation and it's going to collapse. Okay, but remember, you don't want to make sweeping statements. What you want to do, right, is to use hedging words. The majority, generally, they have a tendency to do something, right? So please use them. If not, you will be making sweeping statements, and that's the last thing you want to do. Okay, the next one is example to support your point. So it would be good if you could use very specific examples. Okay, so for example, if you want to talk about that Charles and Keith girl who got a lot of hate for the bag video on TikTok, right? You don't just say, a girl got a lot of hate on TikTok for posting her Charles and Keith bag. Just not like that. You know her name. Her name is Zoe, right? And what did she do? And what did she post? And what happened? So please give names, dates, and numbers. So what happened this year, right? So say in 2023, which month? Okay, don't just say a girl on TikTok in Singapore. But if you find yourself struggling with an example, a hard, solid, concrete example, you can give a personal anecdote. Okay, but please use them sparingly. Just use once max. Okay, but best is don't use that. Okay. Later, I'll explain to you how you can save your own personal anecdote. Okay, because I know a lot of you at J1, maybe the content haven't built finish yet, but it's okay. Okay. A lot of candidates tend to like just throw your example there and then, oh, therefore, blah, 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 finish, right? But that's not the point of your example. You need to go and explain how your example supports your argument. Okay, it's not a story, just throw there and then finish like that. Okay. Okay, 5. 5 is the point which I think has a lot of value for a lot of you. Okay, in what sense? Because if you look at the rubrics at a few pages below, okay, the moment you do evaluation, a good evaluation for one paragraph, you can hit 4 marks already, assuming everything is correct. Okay, I don't know, recently you get 1 mark, 2 mark, 3 mark, but if you have a good evaluation in one paragraph, one will do, right? Then you can hit 4 marks already. Okay. And what are the different things you can do to evaluate? First thing is to say time. So maybe the author says, women's rights, women do not have rights these days. Then you can say, oh, that may be true in the past, where women do not really have a lot of rights. They tend to be domesticated, have to stay at home and make baby and take care of the baby. But in today's day and age in Singapore, women have been emancipated, right? They have higher education, they can pursue a career, they can do whatever they want in Singapore, right? So that's how you use time to evaluate, to say the author's stand is only true in the past, but in the present, it is not true. And in the future, it's going to be even less true, because we can see a lot of initiatives started to like help female empowerment, right? So that is how you use time. The next one is scope. Okay, so scope in terms of, is the author's point of view only applicable to a select group of people? For example, meritocracy can help make society more equal, right? That is maybe applicable to people last time, when everyone is not very educated and everyone is not very rich. But now, meritocracy may help even to further entrench inequality. Okay, so that is the scope. Next is implication. Okay, so we can talk about long run and short run, or the author is kind of biased because he is so and so. The next one is quite interesting. It's in terms of applicability. Okay, so you will say, Are the author's view realistic and feasible only when applied to Singapore, or is it only working in theory or hypothetically only? Okay, so for example, if the writer say minimum wage can help alleviate social inequality, right? Theoretically, it sounds perfect. Everyone will earn more money. We can all be able to afford whatever we want. But if you were to apply it in Singapore, we need to think that there may be unintended consequences, such as inflation, right? Because when everyone can afford everything, then the price will all go up. The cost of labor also increases. So the companies will increase the cost, right? Okay, so that is applicability. Okay, perspective is like maybe the author only takes from his point of view, never consider other point of view. The most important one I want to go through is this one called representative. Okay, so you will use it when you use an anecdote. For example, the author says, food is very good in helping people bond together. Then you cannot think of any example, right? Because wow, so specific. Food, bonding. Then how? Then you say lah, during Chinese New Year, when y'all gather as a family, or during Hari Raya, y'all gather, y'all eat a lot, y'all talk, y'all share, y'all feel more bonded. And that is your personal experience, right? That is your example you explained earlier already. Then you must evaluate and say, although the above example is just my lived experience, means you also experience one. You need to acknowledge that this may not be what other Singaporeans and the rest of Singapore feel, agree, and concur with, right? But nonetheless, based on your own experience, you find the author's view to be applicable because you yourself experience it, you yourself feel it. It doesn't mean it is fake. It doesn't make it any less valid. It is still valid because it is your experience. But the key is to acknowledge it, to tell them that, yeah, you know that maybe not everybody feels the same. And that's perfectly fine. Okay, so that is what you can use to go and save your example in AQ if you were to use an anecdote. Okay, but just take note that these methods are not exhaustive, and yeah, you can use example for evaluation lah. But then optional. I know exam you are no time, so don't need. Okay, so below is a sample question. But I think you guys should know like how the question looks like lah. Okay. You all got any question or no? People online got question? Oh, got people chat there. No, nobody chat, sorry. Okay, no, nobody is chatting with me. Okay, that's very sad. Okay, come, let's look at menti.com now, okay? And use the same code. So this knowledge check, right? And please use your real name to answer because and can use name or not. Okay, I don't know. But let's see. Okay. Because I have to go to the next. Okay, I'm supposed to go to the next one. Oh. Okay, please join the thingy. I don't know y'all must type your real name or not, but please type, okay? Because got prize for this one. I will yeah. Please join the quiz, people. $19 only, cannot be. Okay, faster join, faster. Faster join. Hey, I wait for 30 people, then I start. Okay, 30 people. I don't care, start already. Okay, answer fast, what is the answer? TikTok CEO very handsome. Wow, best. Okay, good job. But yes, it's because we have high internet penetration and stuff. Okay, good. Leaderboard. Wow. Okay. Next. Good. Okay, start. Good. So yeah, the first answer, many Singaporeans are busy. Why cannot we love the because we look. It's true that the abundance and convenience, we're talking about convenience. It's nothing to do with your love for. Okay? It's simply because you are busy and you prioritize convenience. That's why we will talk about it. Sorry, I don't know how to do that. Okay, next. Very good. Wow. Good job. Okay, good. Wow, Singaporeans are generally friendly and sociable. And I'm sure we don't like to do belly dancing, right? Okay, good. So let's see who's at the top. Okay, next. Wow. Good job. Okay, question 4. The last two is just like 3 and 4 1. Okay? Okay, yes, most of you got it right. Good. But yeah, that is definitely time because past and present I gave you the answers. Right. Wow, good. Okay, now. Last one. 31 people. Wow, you totally cannot use another one and get it. Totally cannot. True? I don't know. Maybe your teacher said so, but can is can. Okay? Okay, let's look. Who is the winner? Yeah, I'll contact you for your prize tomorrow or tonight. I don't have. Any of you here or not? Alright. Oh, you are who? Vivian. Oh, wow, you made it. Okay, Joshua also. Okay, I will contact you about it. Okay? Valerie or Val, congrats. Yeah, I remember your name. Okay, good. Okay, I I will remember who won. Who the first one. Good job. So this is the AQ. I know it's like super rush, but I'm sorry, we've got a lot to cover, okay? So, good job, people. Very, very proud of you. Okay. So I think AQ is quite clear already. Okay, and you all can eat the food. Yes. Okay. I think inside got a lot of things. Okay, behind is a sample AQ response. You can go and read and see whether you like what this person wrote. Okay, I adapted from KS Bua. Please don't come after me for plagiarism or whatever. Okay, took from KS Bua. And if you see, this is the AQ rubrics. So ideally, if you have a very okay and acceptable evaluation, right, straight away, 4 marks already. Okay, so make sure you can do your evaluation very well. Now, I'm gonna move on to irony question. So I know many people are very scared of irony question, even from O-levels when you all did it, right? So there are 3 kinds of irony. You don't really need to know the 3 kinds, but I feel like I need to explain to you that there are 3 kinds, okay? There's verbal, dramatic, and situational, okay? The most common one you will get is either situational or verbal. Dramatic, you won't really get unless you're like watching a show, generally. Reading a book also okay, but you don't really get that kind of narrative that you do in section B of your O-level English paper. So mainly verbal and situational, okay? So let's look at the verbal one. What a great day. I crashed my car and lost my winning lottery ticket, right? This is clearly verbal irony, because if you're having a great day, right, you won't be crashing your car, you won't be losing your lottery ticket. You would be expecting good things to happen to you. And someone said, I had a great day. You're expecting good things to happen to you, right? But in reality, it is the bad things that are happening to you, okay? So how do you answer irony question, right? This is the framework, easy peasy. We would expect what? It is expected that something happened, but then in reality, the opposite happens, right? So let's look at the situation for here. A plumber's house has leaky pipes, okay? So it's super ironic because if you're a plumber, you are expected to what? As a plumber, right? As a plumber, you are expected to be able to fix pipes such that your house would not have leaky pipes, right? However, in reality, the plumber did not fix his pipes and has leaky pipes in his home, right? So I think even if you follow the format, you may get it wrong if you do not do like the matching between the opposite and the reality and the expectation. So you are expected to be able to fix pipe. Okay. You're expected to fix pipe, but then you never go and fix your pipe, right? So you also expect your house would not have leaky pipes. Yeah, that's the expectation. But in reality, your house has leaky pipes in your home. So you see the yellow will match with the yellow, and the green will match with the green, right? So sometimes you're like, oh, I follow the format, I follow everything, but then why I still get it wrong? Why you get it wrong is because you don't match, you write something else. Like for example, you match one yellow and one green, then cannot also. He has to be like directly opposite. Okay? So if we look at, for example, a lifeguard drowning at a pool party, right? So you can say a lifeguard, what is expected to be able to save himself, right? Save himself and not drown. However, in reality, he was unable to save himself and ended up drowning. So drowning, yes. Okay, so you can see we follow the format to the T quite close. So let's match it, okay? So to be able to save himself, that is the expectation. So we're gonna put it in yellow, okay? And it matched with unable to save himself. You can see it's a direct opposite, right? And then after that, not drown, okay? So he's expected to not drown, but then what happened? He ended up drowning. So if you want to check your answer, make sure you have a direct match. Okay, so this is quite a foolproof way to check lah. So it doesn't mean you follow the format, you're right. You need to make sure that your content and your context are correct and that they match. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Nice. Oops. Yo. Okay. Can. Okay. Sorry, someone was like talking in the chat. Okay. Can. Mark allocation, they are usually worth 2 marks, 0 or nothing. Okay, so you either get 0 or nothing, or 2 marks. You don't get 1 mark, unless they're quite nice lah. So please make sure you nail these 2 marks. Always is common 2 marks one. Unless they give you 1 mark for the whole question, that's quite sad lah. Okay. So now let's go to the Mentimeter. I want to see your answer, okay? For this one. So you see, the bird is like, I just don't know why you have to argue with me about everything. Then the other bird is like, I never argue about anything, right? So how is it irony? This is definitely verbal irony, but like, why is it ironic? Okay, I need y'all to go to the Mentimeter and go and do what? Go and answer it. Okay, Mentimeter. Why is it not doing? Oh. Yes. Okay, so I want to see your answers. Okay, your Mentimeter answers. Explain the irony using the same format. Yeah, let's play plus 2. Okay, it's a different number, so please make sure it's using a different number. Okay. Nobody join. Join the Mentimeter, people. Join the Mentimeter. Okay, please join so that you can see your answers. It's a different number now, okay? 3178. Okay, it's a different code now, so yeah. Okay, so we can see all your answers, see whether you are following the correct way lah. Small bird, big bird. I think it's nice. Okay. Those online, please share your answers so I can see that you are learning. Good job. Try and follow the format, right? Expected, yeah. Or even though it's also a little bit ironic also, because he say he never do, but then he's arguing. Yeah, okay, the first answer is quite good. Over here. Okay. So yeah. Say it never argue about anything, but in reality, yes, it was arguing with the big bird, right? Okay. Ironic because he expected that he's not arguing, but he's arguing further. Yes, good. Okay. He never argue. Okay. Argumentative tone. Okay. In a way, but I think a little bit, yeah. He expected that they argue about everything. Denying that argue about everything. Okay, the first part a bit off, right? First part a bit off. The second part is okay. Pink bird is expected to go along. Yeah, okay. It does not argue. Yes, okay. I think this is a very good answer. Okay, I don't know who wrote it, but good. Okay, I will scroll below to see who else. Okay, scroll below. Wow, we will expect that the pink bird will not argue back. Yes, okay. Okay, well, this one a bit much. Because the moment you reply, it's already arguing already, right? So this one, not really. but good try. Okay, it's ironic because it's expected. Yeah, he's arguing. Yeah, okay. Yes, good. This is a good answer. Yeah. Okay. The big bird never argue. But already he's like, okay, yeah. Try not to start your sentence with but. Okay, it's expected that a child would start arguing. However, in reality, the child is still arguing. Yes. Small but claims that he's not arguing. Okay. Yes. Talking back to the big bird. Yes. Okay. Okay, yeah. All of you sort of got it already. That's good. Okay, good job. Come, let's try the second question. Okay, the second question is an actual question from EJC's prelim a few years ago. Okay, why do parents snow plow? Okay, is the second one over here. Okay, look at the yellow highlighted one. Yeah. So focus about what the passage is about, okay? About parents harming children in the way that they parent. Okay. Snowplow means they clear the problems for their children. If their children face problem, then the parents just step in, intervene, and clears the path for them, such that the children do not have to deal with any problem at all. Okay, good. Oh, good. Wow. Parents are expected not to shelter their children. Oh, very good. Okay. Over here, what you can add is you can add on the word. It's not just consequences, because consequences is a very neutral word, right? Consequences is very neutral. It can be good, can be bad. So you want to action a bit and go and put maybe negative consequences, detrimental, deleterious, like bad stuff, but don't use the word bad. Okay. Yeah. Good. And now do so do what? Okay, if there's something also you must give it a bit more context. This something is the snow plowing, right? Okay. It's bad for their children. It does not still does it, knowing its risk. Hey, the its is wrong. The its is no apostrophe. This is it is. Okay, take note of the language. Wrong. It's expected that parents would do all their best to protect their children. Okay, but this one you never mentioned despite knowing, right? Despite knowing the consequences. So cannot. It has to have the despite knowing the consequences. Okay. Yeah, okay, good. Okay, good. Actions with the yes, good. This is a clear answer. Okay, clear. Good. Very good. Okay, let's scroll down. See. Parents know there's no, they will not do it. Okay, good answer. Very clear, very short, very sharp. Expected for snow plowing to harm. Okay, this one not really, because you need to say it's expected that they will stop because they know the bad things that will happen lah. Okay, so this one cannot. Unwanted. Okay, unwanted, okay, they can BOD it, but you might just want to put it as negative or yeah, adverse also okay. Okay, parents know that clearing all the obstacles will not help them since they will not get. In reality, the parents are still doing it. Okay, this one they can BOD. Parents know there's no point causes children to experience stress. This might, okay, can, but not really about the stress part, but yeah, over here. Okay, this one not really. It's need to know about, it's about snow plowing is negative, but then they still do it. Okay, that is the answer. Snow plowing negative, they still do it. That's why it is ironic. Okay, let's see. Okay, this one also not. Okay. Because there's no mention of snow plowing, which you need to mention about, which you need to mention. Okay. Okay, let me clear. So far, okay, you guys are doing great. Where? It is still do it. Okay, good. Okay, so your answer need to mention snow plowing and about them knowing the negative impacts lah. Okay, good. Problems. Okay, yeah. Not send their children for classes. Okay, this one is wrong context, so you still get 0, even though it's almost correct. Okay, it's not send them for classes. Snow plowing is not that. It's clearing the problems for them. This one is not also because you're not talking about clearing the problems for them. No reference to snow plowing as well. Okay, but all of you did a very good job on this. Okay, that's a good try. So we can say if we look, let's look at the answer together. Okay, oh, and I'll do it over here. Okay, so yeah, it is ironic because while many parents know the detrimental impacts of snow plowing and are expected to stop doing it, they still go ahead and snowplow their children, right? They're expected to do it, but they still go ahead. But in reality, they still go ahead and snowplow. Okay, so your answer need to mention the snowplowing, stopping, and doing. Remember, we talked about it being directly opposite, right? If you stop doing it, then the opposite must be go ahead and still do it. So this is the direct opposite that we are talking about. Okay, and when we talk about the context, we're talking about snow plowing. So this has to come into play. You cannot go and not mention snow plowing at all. And you also need to mention the detrimental impacts. Okay, so as long as you have these ideas and these words, then yeah, that is gonna give you the marks. Okay. Wow. Oh, not bad. Okay, we make it on time. We still got time for OV. I was so scared I cannot finish. Okay, good. Good. So this is actually all like just a teaser of what we do in class, because normally like these two things is like 1 or 2 lessons on its own already. It's like so hard to cram everything in one class. But I think you guys are managing well so far, so that's great. Okay. So come, let's go to something a little bit heavier, which is writing paragraphs for opposing views. Okay. So many people tend to like they tend to write the opposing view as if it is their own view, but that is not the way to do it, because it will make you sound like you're undecided, you're on the fence, or you have split personality. I don't know, you got to be very clear and logical in your argument. So when it's your OV, means it's the opposing point, right? You need to say that it's other people who said it. It is not you. Okay, it's other people. So you'll use words like contrarians, detractors, opponents, critics, Luddites, yeah, and skeptics. Okay, so this is mainly for technology, this word. Okay, it's people who are not too accepting or receptive towards technology. So this word only can be used for technology. If you use for others, then it will not make sense at all. This is very technology specific, this L word. Okay, and then other words you can use is proponents, advocates, and supporters. Okay, why did I put them in 2 bullets, and why did I put of your stand, of the opposing stand? So I'm going to demonstrate to you why, so that you will understand. Okay, so if you see, for example, the question is, education is a great social leveler. To what extent do you agree? Okay, that's spell wrong. Okay, leveler. Okay, can. So if your stand, okay, for example, yes, education is a great social leveler. So the opposite stand would be no, education is not a great social leveler, right? That's what you would do. Okay, so now you can go and try to craft a viewpoint. So I'm going to give you an example, okay? Then you try on your own, in your own head or on your own paper. Okay, so for example, I use the word contrarians. Okay, so I put contrarians will, contrarians, no, maybe I use detractors. Sorry, detractors of the notion that, would I say your stand or would I say opposite? I would say your stand, right? So I would say detractors of the notion that education is a great social leveler would argue that blah, blah, blah. Okay, so this is to show that other people are the one that is saying that they don't agree with you, because your stand is education is a great social leveler. That is your stand, right? And people who oppose you are the detractors. These are people who oppose you. Okay, but on the flip side, if I were to use the word advocates, right? But I still want to use for the opposite, right? I would say advocates of the notion that education is not a great social leveler would argue that. So this is your OV still, right? Because people who are supporting the view that education is not a great social leveler would say this. Okay, so this is how you match it. Both of them are still talking about the opposite over here. The education is not a social leveler. Because if you are a detractor, it means that you think that education is not a great social leveler, right? But if you are a supporter of this opposite stand, right, you will say, yeah, it is not a great social leveler. Okay, so that is how you will start your OV generally. Oh, by the way, I haven't said, I just want to know, OV, do y'all do it after your intro or do y'all do it before your conclusion, or you just put it anywhere? Who says, why y'all put after intro? Directly. You? Same. Good. You? Directly, is it? You also? You? Don't know. Okay. Are you from Raffles? None of you from Raffles. Okay, never mind. Yes. Okay. Yeah. So I think the recommended way is to put it after the introduction. Okay. Because you see, you show the examiner, you address the opposite point, right? Then you flow, then all the way to your conclusion. It's going to be very smooth flow, right? Rather than you intro, then you flow, then suddenly you throw in something opposite, then you break the flow, then you go to conclusion, then it just doesn't flow very smoothly. Okay, so my recommendation is to start with the OV. That's why you always start with, right, finish your stand, your intro, everything, straight away start with one of these words. Because I know some people always like struggle to start. So for your OV, it's very easy to start with, like that. Okay, so detractors, advocates, blah, 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 all this is known as 1A. I'll call it 1A because I break it down into 1A, 1B, 1C, and then 2. And then after that, your pure format already. Okay, 1B would be verbs, like we mentioned in your AQ: posit, postulate, champion, assert, decry. Okay, so apart from using the word argue, right, I can also use the words here. Okay, like this. Like this, and then I'll be like postulate, averse, posit, assert. Okay, without S, because advocates is plural, right? However, if I were to use the words, if I use the word detractors, right, I would use the word maybe would, not would argue, but would maybe decry. Okay, or they would contest. Okay, or I think those are some words you can use to flow, and then you flow into your ideas. Okay, so that's how you can do it. Okay, so the following is part C, which is state the opposing argument. Okay, after that is the state the opposing argument. So I'm just going to do example 1 with you. Okay, so example 1, if we look at part 1A, 1A is whoever opposes you, right? So maybe the people in the class here can tell me what is the 1A in example 1. Remember, 1A is one of those words, right? The contrarians, whatever. So in example 1, what is the 1A? Good, critics. Okay, what is the 1B? The next, your friend can answer. Yes, it's a verb, so it's believe. Good. Okay, come, Joshua, what is 1C?
The rest of
the rest of not really. Okay, 1C is the opposing argument, right? So you see, space travel can be justified, right? Then the opposing would be space travel can never be justified. So this is your 1C lah. Okay, so this is your 1C. The rest is your P, because it's your PEL, the P, the point. Okay, this is your P. Okay, because the money can be used for other purposes. Okay, that is your P. So you got your 1A, 1B, 1C, and then your P. It's a very straightforward way of starting your OV. Then you can go into your grandmother's story of your PEL as you have learned in secondary school. Okay, let's look at example 2. We can start with the 2 girls. Can you tell me what is 1A? Good. So this person have extra, give 2s, yeah. Okay, yeah. Okay. Next, what is the 1B? Good. Okay. Next, 1C. Very little girls. Nope. This one is tricky. Ask your friend to help you.
otherwise.
Yeah, wow, very good. Yes, otherwise. Okay, so in my other class, not everyone got it. But yes, otherwise. Because otherwise is otherwise lah. Social media beyond entertainment. Okay. Then of course your P is this claiming that there are very little grounds with which to substantiate. Okay. So this is your P. Easy. Interesting, right? The otherwise thing. I want to skip example 3 because it's kind of basic. Let's go to alternative example 1. So this is a little bit challenging. Okay, I'll start with the girls as well. Those online want to say, you can say, oh my god, 10 people chat. What is it? Let me see. Oh, nobody chat. Okay, never mind. Okay, come. What is the 1A? One of the girls. No. 1A is not just people, it's people, but it's not governments. I'm going to give you guys a clue. Okay, 1A is 8 words. Yes, wow, very fast, very good. Yes, correct. Okay, so 1A is those more sympathetic to the challenges that the governments face. So these people who are like, they feel sad for the government. They understand what the government is going through. Okay. Come, what is 1B? Yeah, simple. Yeah, that's the simple verb, right? Okay. Come, Joshua, what is 1C? A clue is if you look at this, right? This is the main argument, so you must just find the opposite lah. See what's opposite of that. Maybe one of the boys wanna. Good try, but no. Try again. Because that one is not opposite, right? Of key to protection. Opposite is not the key. Come, try again. The girls wanna go? Nope.
Render the state less important.
Correct, yeah. That is the direct opposite of the gray part, what, right? Okay. Gray part say is key. Good governance is key. Then the second part, this gray one is saying the state is less important. Is key means it's important, what? Opposite of is key is not key, which is less key. Less important. Okay. So that is how you see. So you can see that this is a little bit off, not say off format, but he just restructured it another way. So this is a little bit more complex, and I actually like this a lot more, but there's nothing wrong with doing what example 1, 2, 3 has done, because you guys are J1, you all can just start with something like that. Then once you are more familiar with how to write an OV, right, you all can try for a little bit more complex kind of way, such as this. Okay, so I think this is a very good way of writing. Disclaimer, yeah, all this is from KS Boso, so okay, these are not what I wrote. Okay, so we're done with this part. Good. Then after that, after you write your P already, right, then you want to move into your E. How to move into your E without sounding like, oh, I totally agree. There's nothing wrong with like conceding, right? But you want to make it sound like you do have a sliver of doubt, or like you kind of want to cast some like, oh, I'm not too certain if that person saying that thing is true or not lah, right? So you can use words like granted, indeed, understandably, of course, undeniably, after all, and in fact. Okay, so if you look at example 1, right? Okay, so this thing came out already, so we can use the word indeed, right? So this person is like, oh yeah, indeed, yeah, we can say that that is true. Then this person also used the word granted. Okay, then after that, towards the end, then the person will go into his rebuttal lah. Okay, so you can see all these words kind of like a bit of reluctance and hesitance to kind of agree with what the opposing view is saying. Okay, so example 2, come tell me, what is the word? What's the word? Yes, after all. Very easy. After all. Okay, it's like, yeah, kind of true. You're just waiting for the but only. Okay, come, the girls, example 3, what is the word? Yes, very good, simple. Okay, so after you do your 1A, 1B, 1C, and your P, right, you will move into 2 lah, right, 2.2. Okay, then you go into EEL, and that is how you write your OV. Okay, so very easy. Now we're going to go into rebuttals. So for the rebuttal section, right, we have 4 strategies to rebut. Okay, but these 4 strategies, right, are non-exhaustive. What non-exhaustive means is that apart from these 4, there are many other ways that you can use to rebut the OV. So it's not just limited to these 4. Even if you don't use these 4, you have your own ways, go ahead and use it. Okay, so the first one is by saying that the author is very myopic. He is very narrow-minded. Okay, so you're saying that, yeah, whatever you say, kind of true, but if you take a step back and you look wider, right, like wider, you will realize that there are instances where whatever the OV is saying is not true, because OV is just like that. and then your view is like this, right? So all these, okay, so the question is there a place for social media beyond entertainment lah? So just now we went through this already, right? So this is the 1A, this is the 1B, and then this is the 1C, right? Okay, then this is his number 2, prima facie. Wow, very chim word. Okay, it just means on the surface or superficially, right? Okay, and this person used a very simple word to kind of show some sort of reluctance and hesitance to agree with what the writer is saying. So he used the word seem. It's like, oh yeah, look like true only lah, but look like only. Okay, it's not entirely true. Then he went into his EEL and everything. And then he used the word seem again at the end to make it seem like, yeah, it's only on the surface. You just look at it like that. Yeah, it looks like that lah. Okay, but then you look at his rebuttal. He said, while this is definitely not wrong, it would be narrow-minded. So you must straight away call out the weakness or the flaw of the argument, being that it is narrow-minded. Okay, it is very narrow-minded to consider how social media is slowly but surely evolving to better suit other crucial roles in society as well. After all, every bundle of entertainment comes with other pretty neat functions that have created markedly unique and important roles for social media to play, namely its ability to connect people and its effectiveness as a means for social change. So if you see this person, wow, very smooth. He managed to slide in his snakes SVs inside already. It's a supporting viewpoint, right? He says social media, not just for entertainment. If you say it's only for entertainment, you're being very narrow-minded. What I'm going to tell you is that social media can be used for number 1, to connect people. Number 2, as a means for social change, right? So, and we all know that social media can connect people. We talk about Reddit communities. We talk about LinkedIn, you know, how you connect people within companies and like forge your professional network. That is for how social media can connect people. How social media is a means for social change is something that you guys may probably be all very like familiar with, like Black Lives Matter, right? So I'm sure you all posted, not all of you, but maybe some of you posted a black square on your Instagram to show your support and stand in solidarity with BLM. Okay, yeah, that is social change lah. Okay, not that it did much, I think, maybe except to spread awareness, but that is how maybe social change starts, right? Another social change you can talk about is probably the Me Too movement, how women step out to say like they have been sexually assaulted, sexually harassed by people through social media. And then they say then because of that, they gave courage to other women to go and speak out against the abuse that they face from men. Okay, I think that was kind of similar to what happened to the Dee-Kosh case in Singapore. I think like one boy spoke out on Twitter and then many other boys spoke out about that also. So that is how social change, not really social change, you just put him in jail, but it kind of sets a precedent for other potential sex offenders. Okay, so yeah. Okay, the next one is appearance versus reality. Okay, it may seem a little bit similar to what we just went through, but it's not really similar lah. This one is saying like, oh, very narrow-minded. This one is saying on the surface. Okay, so if we look at it, this one, the 1A is very interesting because they say average uninformed millennial or teenager. So this one already shows that, wow, this person really throwing shade at these people already. Uninformed millennial or teenager means don't know anything kind, you know? Okay, they would usually disagree. So this is your 1B. And your 1C is otherwise, right? And what is the otherwise? That social media does best and only best at entertainment. Okay, then he did a number 2, right? And number 2 is understandably. Understandably, he say, yeah, you say, okay lah, kind of true. Then you're just waiting for the but only. Okay, so you can see his PEEL all the way over there. Okay, but what I want to point your attention to, right, is over here. He asked a rhetorical question as his link. That's a very interesting language feature, which I think would be good for your language marks. But of course, don't keep repeating a question at the end, lah. Right? The examiner think you sell, or you don't have other technique to use. Okay? So you say, is it not consequently safe to assume social media is ideal only for the sole purpose to put smiles on our faces? So he makes you think, is it true that social media is only there to put smile on our faces? Then when you read, you'll be like, okay, maybe not true. Then he goes on, right? Very solid. At face value, yes, it is relevant to a large proportion of its users and convincingly so. Okay. And yeah, he talks about Bernie Sanders using TikTok as a source of crowdfunding to get money for his campaigns, right? And to appeal to the digital savvy members of social media. And he said that, wow, it was very great. It was very successful because he managed to get $3 million in 3 months. I also want to make $3 million from TikTok. 3 months, like $1 million a month. It's very good money. Okay. Besides that, right, you can see he gave a very interesting statistics over here. Instagram in early 2020 found that most of its screen time, or the amount of time spent on certain pages, is like 2 billion hours we spend scrolling on entertainment sites alone, right? All your funny sites or funny things, right? Yeah, you all spend 2 billion hours on it. I don't even think we live for 2 billion hours our whole lifetime. But of course, this is like combine everybody lah. 2 billion, and this is 90% of what people watch. That's why people like to watch entertaining things, right? So the point you need to understand from this is that even though it's an OV, right, it doesn't mean you make it very weak. That's just gonna make it like a straw man, and you don't want to make that fallacy. What you want to do is to say, yeah, this is true, and you acknowledge it, okay? Then you give examples to support it. You do it like you would for a PEEL. But in terms of the language, you exercise some control and restraint to show that you have some doubts about it. Okay, so that's how you will do it for this lah. Okay. Yep. Okay. So this example is about Bernie Sanders, but in Singapore, in the presidential election a few years ago, yeah, there's this politician, this super old Akong, he used TikTok to gain clout or to gain popularity, right? Do you all remember his name? His name is what? Yes, correct. Tan Cheng Bock. Okay, he think he cool, he used the word hype beast. Right. Yeah, and he's not from PAP, he's from PSP. Yeah, Progress Singapore Party. I think he made some TikTok explaining to people what hype beast is, or to show that he very hype beast like this. All right. This man lah. But okay lah, he never win also. So yeah. 2020 Singapore G, but he made headlines for trying to use social media to appeal to you guys. Not to y'all, but to the younger voters. Okay. But interesting fact, he used to be from PAP. Then he left and then he joined PSP. So this Akong. He's 80 years old. Yeah. Okay. Yes. Okay, so similar to Bernie Sanders, but a Singapore example of Bernie Sanders. How old is Bernie Sanders? I don't know. Let me check. Bernie Sanders. Oh, 81 years old. Super old. Okay. Oh man. Okay. Yes. Okay, so the third way to rebut, right, is to say that, oh, your OV does not address the root cause, right? And this part C is recommended way to rebut if you're talking about questions that ask you about solutions, right? Like governmental cooperation is the best solution to climate change. Then yeah, you can say all the COP26, COP27, your Kyoto Protocol, Paris Agreement, all these. But you can say, yeah, those are good. But how do you rebut? Yeah, good, all very good. But then it does not address the root cause, because it's not the governments who cause all these climate change, right? What's the root cause of climate change? We also don't know that. But global cooperation is not really addressing the root cause. It has the potential to address it, but I think so far it has not. Otherwise, we probably would have seen some progress, right? So in this case, the question is saying the solution to hunger is simply about providing more food. Wow, so easy, right? You just give people food, then nobody is starving already. But that does not address the root cause of hunger. Why are people still feeling hungry? Just because you give them more food doesn't make them any less hungry in the future, right? Because why? Because you're only treating the symptom and not the root cause of this complex and multifaceted problem, right? So, wow, very powerful statement. Just shoot only. You say so much, but then you also never address the root cause, okay? So he went on to say, in fact, international organizations have been lambasted, right? So have been scolded, have been thrown a lot of hate for their ineffectiveness in solving global hunger. Then they gave a lot of other examples, okay, about how international aid did not really help, okay? And then he used, it takes two hands to clap. Without recipient countries doing their best to alleviate their own citizens' plights, donor countries with their limited supply of food aid will never solve the problem of global hunger. Okay, very powerful way of ending. Okay, so this is great, very good paragraph. So I never go through the whole paragraph, but you can see that within the paragraph, the examples are very, very detailed. A lot of numbers, a lot of names. Yeah, Zimbabwean citizens, 161.2 billion, what year? So those are elements of examples that you need to replicate in your own essay and in your own AQ. You don't give like very vague one, then might as well you don't give, right? So, and your teacher will probably think you are smoking them. So please just be more specific in your examples. Speaking of which, I will send you guys an example like tomorrow or Tuesday. Okay, hopefully your exam is not so soon. Okay, the last one is about short-term versus long-term, which is the most common evaluation that most of you will do, right? So you will acknowledge that the opposing view was only true in the short term, but in the long run, yours is more true, or yours will remain true, okay? So the question is, equality for all is only an aspiration. How true is this? How far is this true of your society, right? So this is an absolute question because of the word only, right? So they're inviting you to go and disagree with the question straight away already. Because nothing is ever black and white. You need to address the nuance of every issue and every theme, okay? So he starts with his 1A, 1B, 1C very clearly. Critics, 1A. Posit, 1B. All right, his stand, let me see. There, here, this is his stand, right? Throwing Singapore. This is C, this C. Okay, 1C. Okay, yes, they argue that policies and national stances that have worked for us in the past are failing now, bringing up the failings of meritocracy as a driving force of our education and exacerbating the income inequality in Singapore. So this has been quite an issue in the past few years about how meritocracy actually worsens our income inequality. Okay, so this person made a very good point. For the first few generations under our meritocratic system, it was truly an ideal. Okay, generational privilege was barely present. So this is a good term to use because privilege is passed down from generation to generation, right? Meritocracy, which refers to the practice of sieving and rewarding people based on talent and merit that shines for itself rather than your SES, enabled education to act as the great social leveler of the nation, right? Okay, provided a platform for you to move up your SES. So you low SES, you study hard, you can become high SES. And that's what we observe in our ministers forum today, right? You look at Chan Chun Sing. I think he was very famous for growing up in a one-room flat in Toa Payoh or something like that. Okay, he's like the typical rags to riches story of our meritocratic system. Okay. However, times have changed. Okay, so this person, wow, very direct, very good. And that's why I need to be direct. Okay, times have changed. Meritocracy has turned it into an insidious double-edged sword, one that is now slicing away at what progress for equality we have made. Wow, very good metaphor, right? He used the word double-edged sword. Sword, slice, right? Wow, very good way of phrasing it. A credit for language, okay? Then they say now each generation subscription has incentivized parents, especially wealthy and connected ones, to seek to provide their child with every advantage possible. Okay, while the poorer and less advantaged children are left out in the cold, creating and maintaining a vicious cycle where the elite rise to form an elite class and the losers are left struggling. I think we can see that quite prevalent in our society today. Not just us, but many Asian societies, China, Korea, even in the US. Okay, because when you have privilege, of course, you want to pass it on to your children. You wouldn't really care about other people, whether they have privilege or not. In fact, some people even see it as a zero-sum game, that if I have privilege and I let other people have more privilege, right, then I will end up losing that privilege. So that is quite a toxic mindset. But the truth is that a lot of people still have that mindset. Okay. So I think this is a very famous report that 60% of students in elite schools live in condominiums and landed property. On the other hand, 90% of neighborhood schools live in HDB. Okay. And this is very, very true in elite schools, I realize. Not to say that elite schools have nobody living in HDBs, but the majority of them live in HDBs and they drive and they arrive to school in continental cars or sports cars. Okay. So yeah, this is it for the R. Okay, so I just want to do a quick recap. I want to do this with you guys, but this would take like 30 minutes or something. Yeah, so wait, someone off the aircon. Okay, yeah, but never mind. Okay, so just to recap what we have gone through, okay? We learned about answering the AQ, we learned about irony questions, and we learned about writing OVs in paper one. Very strong romance. Okay, so I hope this was very useful for you guys. I really wish I could go through a lot more with y'all and do a lot more writing, but we only have 1.5 hours to cover like every freaking thing here. Yeah, I don't have time for that in one lesson. Okay. But yeah, if you want to join, y'all can join. I'm not conducting the crash course. Another person is conducting it, but y'all can feel free to join also, I guess. Yeah. Okay. But this is what I received from you guys. I think closer to your promos, we might have another one. So yeah, I hope you all will join. Okay. But before you go, don't go and log off first. Please go and do this survey because why? Got prize one. Fill up the survey for a chance to win $8.88. Okay, I will send you the PayNow by Friday after we do the lucky draw. Okay, so the URL is here. Alternatively, you can go and scan the QR code. Okay, 5 lucky winners will walk away with that. With what? With $8.88. Okay. Yeah, so please fill it up. It will be quite good for me to know how I can further help you guys. Okay, fill that up. Fill up, please. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Fill up. Yeah. Okay. And if you want to join the classes, I think the dates and everything are on the first page of the thing. Okay. Okay. Yeah, I think up to 30th June, you guys will get $55 via PayNow or PayLah if you all sign up. Yeah. And there are only a few slots left for the Saturday class. Yeah. So there are this new class over here on Sundays. Yeah. Okay. don't leave first, okay? If y'all got any questions, y'all can always ask me. Y'all can also WhatsApp me, like, or Telegram me. My number is here, okay? So if you got any questions about your whatever, please ask me. Or if y'all want to attempt the OVR at the back, feel free to do it, okay? And then you can send it to me. I will definitely mark it for you. Okay, so that's all I have for you. Okay, yeah, I hope it was useful. If it's not, I'm so sorry. Like legit sorry, but I hope it was. Okay, yay, nice. Thank you for the validation. Okay, yeah, if you all have questions, you all can feel free to ask me. Okay, and for the rest of you online, you all can log off already. Thank you to TK and Adia for your good messages. Thank you, thank you. Yes. Okay, Sarah. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Okay, I hope this was legit useful. Okay, anything y'all can WhatsApp me, even though you're not my student, whatever. Yes, y'all can always WhatsApp me. Yeah? Okay. I'm not chasing your honest opinion at all. Congratulations. Okay. Yeah, yeah. Yay. Okay. Thanks, guys. Yeah. Hey, y'all want more food stack now? I think y'all want more. You want food stack? Okay. And give me a moment. Okay. Yeah, yes. Okay, go home tomorrow square. Yeah, check that. Why? um, One of the top five last time, last time. No, 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 no. I don't go thank you. Yes. No, you are not Raffles, right? I think that Raffles. Yeah. Goodbye. Thank you. All the best for everyone. Bye.